Hello, welcome to another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Joanne, LaFlamme.
So Joanne, what do you think we should cover tonight?
Well, I understand that once you post an AR invoice, there are some fields that you can make modifications to. Perhaps we can talk about that, take a look at those.
Sure, absolutely. Good topic. Maybe before we go on screen, we'll just talk for a second about the line you cross when you can make changes to when you can't make changes.
Okay.
Obviously, our users should know that while an invoice is in a batch unposted, you can make any changes you want.
Right.
Okay, anybody can go in, update amounts, date, GL codes, anything like that. Once you post the batch and that invoice becomes a posted transaction, you're really limited in what you can change.
Okay.
And that really should be viewed as a positive, not a negative. I mean, if you're managing your accounting system, I wouldn't think you'd want just anybody going in, opening up an invoice and making any change that they want. So that being said, however, we do have a function in the system for if you make a simple mistake, like you forgot the PO number or you forgot comments, and the customer doesn't want to pay the invoice because of that missing information, you don't have to credit and rebuild the invoice for those simple things. So we can take a look at what some of those
Great,
are.
thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to go into AR. And if you want to open up an invoice and make these kind of changes, you'd want to go into your transaction history or inquiry. So I've got an invoice here that's been posted. It's a live invoice. So I do have an edit button. I can open it up and you'll see the line items on the invoice listed here. Now this invoice happened to have just a single line item. Okay. If there were multiple, they'd all be listed here. You'd highlight the one you want, and then the information would refresh on the bottom to display based on that highlighted invoice. So this is actually a pretty good example. You can see I'm missing a PO number here. So maybe I sent the invoice to the customer and it kicked back because they don't want to pay for it without the PO number on there. So I can simply punch it in. I do have to apply it. Notice it writes it back to the line item. Now if I save and go reprint the invoice, it's going to reprint with that PO number on there. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
So you no longer have to, in past life, you had to void it or credit and rebill it and add that information. So you no longer have to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I noticed some other fields there, like sales rep and bill to tab, so bill to button, excuse me. Are those also fields that you can change?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, it's more than just the PO number. As you can see here, the line description, the line item comments, the sales rep, and you mentioned the bill to. The bill to is a nice one too. Maybe you sent it off to the wrong address, the wrong contact. So, you can click the bill to. Notice it doesn't automatically populate with the information in there, but you can use this as an override.
Okay.
So you can just manually type in the information you want, pick a different contact, save it, and reprint the invoice.
And that will print with that new address.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah. And then one other thing on here as well, if we come back here, the user-defined fields are another area that you can make changes. So if you use those user-defined fields, maybe for, anything, to designate whether it needs FSC logo, a specific logo, commission information, anything like that, you can make those updates as well.
Great.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
So how was that? Any other questions?
No, that was great. Thank you. I think you answered all my questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. This was another episode of EPMS Tech Talk. I'm Chris Costa.
And I'm Joanne LaFlamme.
Please look forward for more to come.